So before we hand out the actual award, Hal Hall is here. He's the president of the Placer County Historical Foundation, of which Al is also the treasurer, and so Hal has a few words.
Well, you said it all. No, on behalf of the Placer County Historical Foundation, which Al probably mirrors the same number of years that he's been the treasurer, and like the Placer County Historical Society, he was the glue. And we want to congratulate Al on his retirement. And I'm sure with your extra time, Sharon's got a lot of chores for you to do.
Leaves and pine needles right now.
Yeah, the leaves are piling up, and so Al, with your free time, if you have free time, you are welcome to come back and join us anytime. I think, crawling or otherwise. Yeah. So, April, we have something for Al.
This for you. It sure is. Do you want to speak at all?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Look over here for a minute, though, Al. You get the three of you the shot.
And the shot of the picture.
Got it.
The thing that I want to be sure you guys know, fellas or people know, is that, you know, while she says I've been doing it for a long time and all of this and something, I'm kind of like the guy that was hit his head against the rock wall, and the gal came by and looked at him and said, "Why in the heck are you doing that?" And he said, "Oh God, it feels so good when I quit." And I guess that's kind of where I'm at. But it works out good for me, and I think I maybe got started in the late 80s, I'm just not sure. And then I followed you, who were treasurer for the foundation at one time, and I think it was Mike Lynch or someone came and said, "You got to take this job on," so here I am. But, you know, I enjoy doing it because I can do it at my leisure, more or less at home. I don't have to go out running around and doing all of this. And so it's not a terrible hard job, but it's what I call my public service challenge, or my public service for the community, and that's what I've been doing. But it's going to feel awful good not hitting my head against that rock wall.
Question. Has a question.
How many other organizations are you treasurer?
Well, today I was at a luncheon over Lake of the Pines for the retirees for the company I used to work for, and I'm the treasurer of that group. 3 times a year we had a luncheon. I was a treasurer for the foundation and the society. I'm treasurer for a Model A Ford group here in Northern California. And it seems like I might have another one. I can't remember that. I think it was 5. Oh, the one that does the most work, or the most checks and most time, is I'm also treasurer for our homeowners association out in Meta Vista, Walgra Meadows Property Owners Association. And so you have 54 people, so that's 54 checks every year, and a lot of other stuff going on. So we spend more money out there than we do here in the society.
Thank you so much. So the other thing that we have going on tonight is our annual History Award presentation. And that is an award that is presented by the Placer County Historical Society and the Placer County Historical Foundation. And this year's recipient is Mr. Phil Sexton, who is with us tonight. So I do have a few words I want to say here. The thing about Phil, I think, is his love of local history, and that just shines through everything that he does. He's an incredible storyteller, and he's delighted our group several times, and many others with his presentations. His specialty is the Chinese involvement in building the Transcontinental Railroad. His accomplishments and projects are extensive. I just want to list a few, and you know, you can tell there's just a few here, and I'm sure I'm going to miss some. He was involved in the production of the Forest Service legacy film regarding the Chinese building the railroad. He consulted and was interviewed for the PBS show Modern Marvels That Changed America. He was interviewed for the PBS Great American Railroad Journey. He was a technical advisor for the TV show Hell on Wheels about building the Transcontinental Railroad. And didn't everybody love that show? He also appeared as an extra, so it makes me want to rerun it, see if I can find him. Phil has been the exhibits director for the California State Railroad Museum, another entity which we all love. And he went on a speaking tour for the 150th anniversary of the railroad. He's given talks all over the place, including the Kennedy Center for the 1882 Foundation about the landmark designation project for the Chinese railroad workers camp at Donner Pass. He had oversight on the construction of the Watson Cabin. That's a National Register site at Tahoe City. He was the project leader for a museum at Big Bend Visitor Center up on I-80. He's been an advisor for archaeological work at the Donner Party site. And that's really just a partial list. I'm sure he's got another 20 he could add to it. And all this time, he has been working for California State Parks as a senior cultural and historical interpreter. He was deputy director of the California State Railroad Museum. He worked for the USDA Forest Service and the National Park Service and was executive director of the North Lake Tahoe Association. In his spare time, he leads visitors through the summit tunnels. And if you want to see what that's like, just put in a Google search term for 1882 Foundation on the YouTube channel, and you can take one of those trips through the tunnels with him. I found it today, it was great. I also found one that's on C-SPAN, which is Phil talking about the Railroad Museum. So I'm sure, like I say, I'm leaving out some things. But I think the overall thing is that Phil is just a great storyteller. He loves to share his extensive knowledge about California history. He's a nationally known expert, but he never fails to show up when a local museum or the museums need some help. So this is just a great honor to present the Annual History Award to Phil Sexton. And Phil and his wife Norma will be granted an honorary membership in the Placer County Historical Society this evening. So with that, please, Mr. Sexton, could you come up?
Phil, you get to stand there for a minute. So we had a little program and April blew right by the thing, introducing people involved. But we got Phil up here. The Placer County History Award is an award that's done by the efforts of two groups, the Foundation, Placer County Historical Society, and the Foundation. We have two members on it from each group. April is one of the members, Hal Hall, myself, and Mike Holmes, who I think is here somewhere. Mike, there he is. And we sort through them, and then we make a final nomination, and it's confirmed by the Placer County Historical Advisory Board. So that's the process. We've been doing it for a few years now. I don't know if we have any advisory board people here. I think Christine Richter's here, and Diane, and Sandy just went off the board for Forest Hills, Sandy's visitor. So, and the award is an interesting thing because it's not historian. It's actually we could call it service to history. That is, a person could win the award by writing, they could win the award by saving a piece of property, doing research, volunteer service, Al, could be a future recipient here for the amount of volunteer service to historical groups. And many people, like Phil, meet many of the categories. So it's not just one category. It could be a historian, but it could be someone who saved something in the past, or I hope I have this right. Last year was Carmel, right? Carmel Larry Swire. Before that was Carol Kramer. I don't know if Carol's here.
No, she's not here.
Dave Allen. Many of you know these people. Dave Allen, a lot of work on historic preservation. And our very first one went to Gus Thompson. And those who've been around know that Gus, had probably written 500 or I don't know how many little history articles in the Auburn Journal over the years. And I'm sure others of you, Gus would call me up and say, hey, I need this date, you know. And I said, okay, let me look it up. I said, when do you need it? He said, well, within the hour. And, you know, I got a deadline. And he would produce these things, you know, and I give him a lot of credit, you know, maybe something was a little wrong, but he was producing these things like on the fly. And he used to say to me, well, you know, the journal doesn't pay me to write about history. It's just that I have an interest in it. And he just hundreds and hundreds of articles. So those are some of the famous people. And we also have a category, the Posthumous Award. And 2 years ago, we gave it to Wendell Roby for the work. It was the anniversary of the Bernhard Mansion, thank you. Boy, I started to say the Holbrook House or one of our other projects, right? The Hammond House. And this year, just for your information, before we get to the awards, and I asked Hal and Mike to come up now too so we can get the photo. The Posthumous Award is going to Carrie Sampson. I think everybody knows Carrie here and her mom, Betty. Carrie passed away, and that's going to be presented tomorrow at the noon program at the library. There's going to be a program on the 50-year history of the library, and we'll make the award to Carrie and her sister Betsy, I think, is going to receive the award. So now, next on our agenda is April is going to talk about the things that Phil has done. It is a fantastic, fantastic list.
Hal does want to speak.
Okay, Hal, and then after that, we're going to let Phil talk, and if anybody wants to chip in something short about Phil, after we do that, let's do it. Hal?
Well, we've been talking about what Phil's done in the past, and I like to focus on what he's going to do in the future. And he tells me he's been working very diligently these last couple of days on something other than history. So I won't go into that.
Actually, I found artifacts in the holes.
Oh, okay. Figures. But his involvement with the 1882 Foundation is remarkable, and I know you've got other things brewing. And then the Summit Tunnel Association, did I get that right? And their efforts to designate, it's a process, the very important piece of ground at Donner Pass to the National Landmark designation, Historic Landmark designation. And that's quite a chore to get that accomplished. And when you do, let us know, because we want to be there for you.
There you go.
So with that, we're going to have you stay, let's see, this dance, I'll dance this way and you dance that way. How about go? I'm going to have you and you and April and Mike and I'll take the pictures.
Well, someone else would probably take a picture.
They probably should, but April said to me, I want you to make sure you get somebody takes a picture. I'm fulfilling my thing. Somebody want to take a picture?
I'll do it, Mike.
Call Alan to service one more time.
I'm not responsible for any cracked lenses.
How do you take a picture?
That white button right there. The white one. I got the one volunteer who's never used a camera.
Cats and jammers, kids.
Yeah, smile. There's a lot of light on it, but
Did I get it?
I think so. It's going to have to do. And with that, Phil, we'll give you the microphone.
Well, I'm not sure when I heard about this unofficially, it might have been Christina who texted me or something, but I am still convinced that this is some sort of clerical error. But a lot of my life seems like a series of fortunate clerical errors. When I came to Placer County in 1985, my plan was to be here for about 2 years and promote in my job and then return to Kern and Tulare counties where I came. But I fell in love with Placer County so quickly, and as I continued doing different things in my work and professional life and learning from people such as Melanie Barton and Carmel Schweier and a lot of other people, I became so impressed with how important Placer County's history is to not only the history of California and the West, but also the nation. this county has a remarkable standing in our nation's history that most people don't really fully appreciate, I don't think. So it makes what I do easy. And it's much more fun than those snooty people over in El Dorado County. And those hippies in Nevada County. Except for my friend Ann, don't let her know I said that. She works at the Cyril's Library, she would kill me. I have been very fortunate in the past few years to do things that no one else gets a chance to do. I spent 9 years, I think, at the Railroad Museum, and every day I got to interact with objects and things that are unique on the planet. And I got to meet amazing people, and I think that if I have any success, it's that I've managed to hang around people a lot smarter than I am, and have them, for some reason, treat me like a peer. But it's allowed me to work with UC Davis and Stanford universities that I never would have qualified to attend. When I worked for the Hell on Wheels people, they flew me to Calgary to put me in the last episode. And you asked about this. I'm unnamed rail executive number 9.
Okay.
And I'm on the Jupiter locomotive near the pilot.
I will look for you.
So I'm in there.
Okay.
But only in that one shot. But it's and today I'm trying to do some work with Hal on the Western States Trail Museum, which is another one of these things that is not well known enough for its significance in the story of Placer County. But it's so wonderful to live and do some work here and now to kind of play. Because even at my house, I have a little house that's a little south of Maidu on 1 acre. I found ox shoes. And I know of the man who first claimed it, Mr. E.D. Sherland, who claimed where I lived for an alpaca farm back in 1867, I think. I'll have to look it up again. But I'm just grateful for this, even though it looks a little bit like a tombstone. And I'll close with just one thing. Back in 2017, I went to a conference in Spokane, Washington, and I was given a national award by the National Association for Interpretation, which I was very grateful to get. But when I returned home, I was given an involuntary job transfer. So I'm really afraid what tomorrow's going to bring. But I am going to come to the library at noon. It's on my calendar. But I want to thank the Historic Society, and I'm really grateful for the membership. That I really treasure that. And for once, I can lord something over my wife, because she's usually a lot smarter and better than I am. But thank you all. Let's have a nice dinner. Oh, before one thing, I also just want to mention, because I've been thinking about it all day, and you probably have too, and it's on the wall. But this is the 82nd anniversary of the Japanese Academy. So keep that in mind. That's very important to our entire nation, entire world. Thank you.